Hey guys, let's get more news from Dallas Cowboys, but first don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, Micah Parsons, top list of 7 Dallas Cowboys, named to Pro Bowl. Quarterback Dak Prescott, receiver CeeDee Lamb and edge rusher Micah Parsons had a list of 7 Dallas Cowboys named to the 2023 Pro Bowl as members of the NFC team. The others were guard Zach Martin, cornerback Darren Bland, punter Brian Anger and kicker Brandon Aubrey. Lamb, Martin, Parsons, and Bland were named to the team as starters. Martin's made it for the 9th time, tying him for the 5th most by a Cowboys player. It is second most by a Dallas offensive lineman behind Larry Allen's 10 trips to the Pro Bowl. Lamb and Parsons made it for the 3rd straight season, and Prescott made it for the 3rd time in his career. Parsons is also the 7th player in franchise history to make the Pro Bowl in each of his first 3 NFL seasons and just the 3rd defensive player overall, joining Everson Walls, 1981-83, and Mel Renfro, 1964-66. Anger made it for the 2nd time. It's the first career selections for Bland and Aubrey. Last year, the Cowboys had 8 Pro Bowlers. The Cowboys, however, hope they won't get a chance to be part of the Pro Bowl festivities, which will taking place over 2 days in Orlando. The skills challenges will be broadcast live on Thursday, February 1st, on ESPN. A flag football game will be played on February 4th. The Cowboys would rather qualify for the Super Bowl, which takes place a week later in Las Vegas. The Dallas Cowboys roster is filled with some Pro Bowl talent, but true Cowboys fans already know that. On Wednesday, the National Football League announced 7 Cowboys players were selected for the 2024 Pro Bowl games. Quarterback Dak Prescott, punter Brian Anger, kicker Brandon Aubrey, cornerback Darren Bland, wide receiver CeeDee Lamb, guard Zach Martin and edge rusher Micah Parsons were selected from the Cowboys, who can clinch the NFC East title with a win on Sunday. Last year, the Cowboys ended up with 8 Pro Bowlers, and they could once again get to that number or even past it, depending on alternates. Player selections were determined by the consensus votes of fans, players, and coaches, with each group's vote counting as 1/3 toward determining final rosters. The NFL is the only sports league that combines voting by fans, coaches, and players to determine its all-star teams. The Pro Bowl is returning to Orlando for the first time in 3 years. It will feature various skill competitions, including the Gridiron Gauntlet, Dodgeball and Tug-of-War challenges, and 3 flag football games. The games will be held at Camping World Stadium in Orlando from February 1st through February 4th. Peyton and Eli Manning will again serve as the head coaches. Cowboys have signed veteran linebacker to practice squad. With an 11-5 record, the Dallas Cowboys are in a fierce fight for NFC East supremacy, and they perhaps don't quite look like the juggernaut everyone thought they were just weeks ago. They're coming off a very narrow 1-point win over the Detroit Lions, and their defense has slipped a bit lately, as they allowed Detroit to rack up 420 total yards of offense on Saturday. In an attempt to shore up that defense, the Cowboys have signed linebacker Damian Wilson, per Jeremy Fowler. Wilson has played 8 seasons in the NFL, but he hasn't suited up yet this season. He was originally a 4th-round draft choice of the Cowboys back in 2015, and after serving as a backup during his rookie season, he started 22 games over the next 3 years. He moved on to the Kansas City Chiefs for the 2019 campaign, and that season, he earned himself a Super Bowl championship ring while starting in each game. Wilson was with the Jacksonville Jaguars in 2021 and the Carolina Panthers the following year. After he was arrested in 2022 on an assault charge, the NFL suspended him for 4 games earlier this season, even though he wasn't on any team's roster. Wilson can play both the inside and outside linebacker positions, and in 127 career games, he has 419 tackles, 266 solo, 9.0 sacks, 24 tackles for loss, and 19 quarterback hits. His signing by Dallas comes on the heels of the division rival Philadelphia Eagles signing Shaquille Leonard, a 3-time Pro Bowler and All-Pro first-team selection, about a month ago. Tom Brady shares his advice for the Lions following controversy versus Cowboys. From the coaching staff to the players, the Detroit Lions are aiming to move past the controversy of this past Saturday against the Dallas Cowboys. According to arguably the greatest quarterback of all time, that's the perfect approach. On this week's episode of the SiriusXM show, let's go. With Tom Brady, Larry Fitzgerald, and Jim Gray, Jim and the 7-time Super Bowl winning quarterback discussed a wide range of topics, one of which included the final moments of the Lions-Cowboys game this past Saturday at AT&T Stadium. Lions left tackle Taylor Decker caught what appeared to be a go-ahead 2-point conversion pass with 23 seconds left in Saturday night's game against the Dallas Cowboys, which would have given Detroit a 21-20 lead. Then almost 30 seconds following the play, officials flagged Decker for ineligible touching, despite Decker reporting to referee Brad Allen as an eligible receiver prior to the play. Instead, the official stated that it was Dan Skipper who reported as eligible. The Lions are preparing for the Minnesota Vikings this Sunday at Ford Field, with a chance to still slide into the number 2 seed. Knowing that, Brady shared his perspective on how the Lions should operate moving forward. "The only thing you can do if you're the Lions is try to control what you can control, which is what's ahead of you," Brady said. "You play these games, and there's been a lot of them over the course of my life. A lot of things don't go your way. A lot of things do go your way. And if I was in that locker room, hopefully that would bring us together to say, all right guys, we got a tough break, didn't go the way we wanted. Or what we thought we did, the referees didn't see it the same way. And what are we going to do about it? Are we going to sulk and complain, or are we going to deal with the reality of the situation and move forward and try to play our best football going into the final week of the year?" Brady's comments on the Lions didn't end there. After sharing his thoughts on the Lions-Cowboys game, Brady turned his attention to Lions head coach Dan Campbell. Campbell has garnered considerable praise across the NFL for his efforts in transforming the Lions and reshaping the team's culture, specifically centered around the team showcasing grit. In just 3 seasons, he has led the Lions from a 3-13-1 record in his first year to an 11-5 team that has already secured its first division crown in 30 years, with 1 game remaining on the schedule. Dan Campbell's done an unbelievable coaching job this year. "And I love seeing teams, like he really went and changed the culture," Brady said. "It's been a tough environment for a long time with the Lions, and they traded Matthew Stafford, and they got Jared Goff, and they got a bunch of picks, and they took this challenge head on. You know, when you're a coach and you're taking over these situations, it's very rare a new coach comes into a great situation. Look, you get hired into a situation that 90% of the time is not a great one because it's been a losing season. And he's had 30 years of losses, the Lions have. And Coach Campbell came in and really set the tone for the whole organization with his attitude and his effort and his work ethic, his toughness. You can see it with the whole team. And you fan, what do you think of the Tom Brady situation? Leave your opinion in the comments.